it's been a minute. So for today's video, I'm taking you to a festival shoot or a music event shoot, whatever you want to call it. It was shot for Optimal Events. It was their 1-year birthday party. And as usual, I'm doing both photo and video. We're using, as always, the Fujifilm X-H2s, the Tamron 17-70 f2.8. I'm not using a gimbal or anything like that, just because I don't really want to carry the gimbal with me. Before starting the shoot, I'm taking the drone up, getting some drone shots because the location is really nice, it's close to the sea, and I want to get some nice drone shots to start off the video, to get some intro shots to show the location, show the sea and stuff like that. You might know this already, but my drone is really old. It's a DJI Mavic Air 1, so it's from like 2018, but for what we needed, it's good enough. Other than that, all the rest of my gear will be in here. Just because I want to be light, I don't want to leave my bag anywhere during the event, just to make sure I don't get robbed or anything happens to the gear. In the past I have brought a full gear bag with me, but at the end of the day I only use a couple of things, so it doesn't really make sense to bring everything with me. So other than the Fujifilm X-H2s and Tamron 17-70, I also have my Samyang 12mm f2. This is a manual lens and it comes in handy to get some wider shots, and especially with events like this one where there's a lot of dancing, movement and stuff like that. I think an ultra-wide lens definitely helps a lot, giving more of that point of view of someone who's at the party, at the event. So this is definitely a big part of what I'm using to shoot. So since I'm doing both photo and video, I can't really rely on just a flash, and this light is really nice. The battery lasts a long time. It is an RGB light, so I can change like effects, colors and stuff like that. It can go into this party mode, which then changes the color all the time. And yeah, generally this light comes in clutch for events like this. And I'm also taking a flash just for the photos, because I want to be able to get those shutter drags and longer exposures. And the last thing I have, except batteries, is these cheap Godox triggers. And those I use just to set by the DJ stage to shoot some flash onto the DJ. And that way I can shoot from the crowd with the DJ being nicely lit. And now that we're done with the gear, let's go into the behind the scenes and see how I shot this event and what we got from the event. I got out to location at sunset and I started with just filming some drone clips to start off the video, to have some establishing shots. The first thing I want to say is, if you're shooting close by the beach, expect seagulls to try attacking your drone, because anytime I fly my drone by the beach, they always come close to my drone and it's always a bit stressful. But luckily until now it never happened, and also I don't really care about my drone that much, so it's fine. You can also set up your drone to save the footage on your phone as well as on the drone or the SD card, so that way even if you lose the drone, you still have your footage on your phone. This first shot is just going from really far away and high up closer to the location, and then doing a panning shot from right to left, keeping the terrace where the event is in the middle of the frame. And at the end of the clip I actually hit the wall on the other side, but the drone was fine and it didn't even fall down, so that's cool. The second clip is just panning up from the party to the sea. You can't really see the party too much because of the mesh that's covering the event area, but still it's a nice shot and I used it in the final video. The next shot is just a shot going towards the sunset, really low to the sea. And the last shot is going the opposite way, from far away in the sea, coming back up to the event, doing kind of a push-in and panning shot at the same time. And this is probably my favorite shot of the day. In the edit for the video, I also tracked the event space to keep it dead center in the frame and sped up the whole clip quite a bunch, just so it's not this slow. I don't have too much behind the scenes footage because it got too dark for my Insta360 Go 3 to actually be able to record, but I did get something, so let's go through it. As I said, I was shooting on my Fujifilm X-H2s and the Tamron 17-70. Through the night, I was getting footage of the DJs behind the DJ stage, from the crowd, footage of the crowd, and just trying to get a variation of everything that I could get. That way I can play around in editing with various footage, various angles, and make the video as interesting as possible. A lot of the time with event videos, you need to have fast cuts, which means you need to have a lot of options for angles and things happening, so you don't repeat the same shots over and over and the video keeps being interesting. You will always see phones in people's hands, so getting a shot of a phone filming the DJ, filming the event or anything like that is always a nice add-on to the video. And try to get a variety of wide and tight shots, details, push-ins, push-outs, movements and stuff like that, because for this type of videos, movement and variety of shots is crucial. The DJ you see is Matt Hibbert, and he had my favorite set of the whole night. Whenever you see people who are having fun, who are dancing and who seem outgoing, try pointing the camera at them, try getting them hyped up and to dance for the camera, because that will look great in the final video. A lot of the time people will see you with cameras and just start posing for pictures, and you need to just yell at them that it's a video and somehow try to make them move. The front of the crowd is usually always the most hype, so try to hang around at the front of the crowd and get some shots of people who are actually having fun and dancing, because shots of people just standing around will not help you in the final edit. I always make sure to cover all the DJs that go up while I'm at the event. For this event, I was out there for just about 4 hours and managed to cover 4 different DJs, which was nice. I think the whole night there were 6, but I didn't cover the first one and the last one of the night. Don't worry about cranking up your ISO. For a lot of the shots throughout the night, I was at like ISO 6400, and that's really not a big issue. There is some noise, but it's not too bad. And when color grading this footage, I will add a lot of contrast and the noise will not be that prominent. Also, for most of the footage you're seeing, I have the light on top of my camera, which helps me light up anyone that's close to the camera and helps me with not having to push the ISO too high. Something else I like to do is taking the light off of my camera and trying to stick it somewhere around the DJ, pointed at the DJ. That way I can shoot from a different angle and have light and have a constant light on the DJ from a different angle, and this also gives a bit of variety because the light is not coming straight from the camera but from somewhere else. And I also use this technique with my flash. Often I will hide the flash somewhere to the side of the DJ and blast the DJ with the flash using the wireless triggers. And this again gives you a bit of a different image, which I really like. And here's some of my favorite photos of the night with the settings. You'll see on some of them I marked the f-stop as a question mark, just because those were shot with the Samyang 12mm and that lens doesn't give me the f-stop in the EXIF data of the pictures. But for many of them I was quite high with the f-stop, probably around f4, maybe some of them at f8, so yeah. I'm honestly not sure at this point, but you can see some of them have really deep depth of field, which means they were shot like at 5, 6, 7 or 8, so yeah. And the main reason I use a higher f-stop with the Samyang is because the lens is manual with manual focus, and focusing it at night, even with focus peaking, with the high amount of noise I see on the back of the LCD screen is quite hard, so having a bit of a higher f-stop allows me to zone focus by just using the markings on the lens, which makes it a lot easier. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show you the fully edited video because I would get a copyright strike. But what I will do is leave a link to the video below, and I will show you just the intro to the video without the music and just with the sound design, because I'm quite happy with how it turned out and I think it's interesting to see. I will also show you the editing timeline just so you can see everything that's going on in the video. Here it goes. I guess that's it for this video, and before closing it out, I just want to give you some advice if you want to break into shooting events and festivals, how I would go about to do it and how I actually did it back in the day when I first started shooting. So back in 2013, when I first started shooting, events and festivals were my first clients and the first things I ever got paid for shooting. And how I got those clients was kind of by accident, because a lot of my friends at the time were DJs, were playing a lot of events and festivals, and I was always the friend with the camera. I was the person who always had a camera with them, and if anything needed shooting, I was always ready to shoot it. So naturally, I got a lot of photos of my friends and photos at every event we went to, and through that I got hired to shoot a couple local festivals and stuff like that, and this is basically how I got into it and how I actually got into photography as a business. So my advice for anyone looking to break into shooting stuff like this event that I showed you in the video is reach out to any local up-and-coming DJs, message them asking if they want photos and videos either for free or for a really low price. That way you can start building your portfolio, start getting experience shooting events, because at first it is kind of hard. You need to start understanding how to use your camera, how to get the right settings with the light constantly changing at the venue and stuff like that. But definitely messaging some DJs and someone who's performing at those events, asking them if they want to hire you for photos will be much easier than actually getting hired by the event organizers. And that way you can once start making a name for yourself with DJs posting photos that you took, tagging you on their posts and stuff like that. And through them, the event organizers will see what you made and will start recognizing you as someone to look out for in the space. And in time, will probably start reaching out, asking you to shoot their events. So this is, in my opinion, the best way to start with it, because DJs can get you access to events and they always want footage and photos of them playing those events. So yeah, go out, start creating and start making a name for yourself in the event and festival niche. And I'll see you in the next video.